Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey, everyone. Duncan here with another episode of the Firebelly Social Show, where we dig in and get personal and find out more about founders and leaders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. So I'm very excited for today's show. Thank you for tuning in. We have a great show lined up for you today. This episode is brought to you by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer together through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food or beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more. And so with no further ado, I'm so excited to welcome Nickolas Abramovich today. And he is one of the founders of Doundrins Distilling. And man, the guy has had an amazing journey as one of the owners. He's also the head distiller. So this guy knows all about the spirits. And, you know, they boast a cherry flavored rum, which I would wish I was having right now, a spicy pepper vodka. But it isn't just a distillery, which is what I love about it, is it's a vibrant hub of event and community, which I think is an amazing mission to have. And so let's jump into the magic behind Doundrins, the art of crafting exceptional spirits and the power of community. Nick, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me on.
Awesome, Nick. Well, you know, your story has all the right ingredients. I mean, engineering, a semester abroad, love, and a passion for craft beverages. And so what's been the most interesting moment, you know, for you in your journey as you decided to start Doundrins?
You know, it's been a whirlwind of a journey for us. You know, we started mid 2019. And so, you know, we get hit by the pandemic pretty quick. We made roughly 500,000 gallons of hand sanitizer in the summer of 2020. So that was pretty crazy. But, you know, I would say that, you know, like the best part about it has just been, you know, becoming a member of the community around us and, you know, and seeing how our business is influencing the people around us and everything like that. You know, we are in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. It's a small kind of suburb outside of Madison, and it has been really great, the community support around the business, around the products that we make. So that's been awesome.
And your background is in engineering. I guess let me ask you this question: how did you decide on the name Doundrins? What does it mean? Something?
Yeah, so it means afternoon drinking. It's an old English term dating back to the 1600s. When we first started the business, you know, we had a list of names, and we all kind of course, engineers. So we had a spreadsheet, and we ranked which ones we liked the best and narrowed it down from there. And Doundrins was the one that made it out on top. It's been so long, I don't even remember what some of the other options were, but yeah, it's been pretty great. It's been, you know, it really kind of personifies our kind of image and, you know, Wisconsin culture as well. So it's been awesome.
You know, one of those days we'll have to have a cocktail together at your place and in the afternoon, and I'm going to yell Doundrins. So, so if Doundrins were a cocktail party, what would your signature drink be?
You know, I would have to say that we make a lot of brandy old fashions in the tasting room, but I would say if in cocktail format, it would have to be our TKO. That is my wife's favorite drink. It is our spicy pepper vodka, lime juice, and 7-Up. So it's that kind of sweet, sour, and spicy all together, and it really melds well together.
That's amazing. It's a simple drink, but it sounds amazing. And your cocktail garden sounds like the perfect place to hang out. What do people love about the cocktail garden when they visit?
I would say that the thing that people really like is that we're really, you know, family friendly. We're pet friendly. You know, we took a lot of inspiration from kind of the beer gardens and, you know, drinking kind of parks that are really commonplace in other parts of the world. And we wanted to make an environment that was very welcoming to all people. and especially people with families. My wife and I have 2 young kids there, and sometimes it's hard to try and go out and have an adult conversation with somebody. And so to have a place where, adults can do some adult things and kids can do some kid things is awesome.
Man, that's an amazing, amazing thing. I mean, I think we need more Doundrins everywhere, because that's something you don't see, right? You don't see family-friendly places, or if they are family-friendly, they're not really that great for adults, right? And so
Yeah.
that's wonderful. Kudos to you guys. Now, starting a business isn't easy, especially 6 months before the pandemic. What's been an unexpected lesson you learned along the way?
I would say the biggest lesson that we've learned is just trying to figure out all of the regulations that come with manufacturing. When we started, it wasn't one of those things of like, I thought to myself, I'm going to be spending days a month just doing reporting. But it's one of those things of like, we have to do it. It's a thing that we have to navigate around just because of the business that we're in.
That's super cool. I'm glad you learned that. Let me ask you this. Let's talk about some accomplishments. Well, first of all, you made it through the pandemic, so that's a huge accomplishment. But other accomplishments that you're super proud of.
Things that I'm super proud of. I'm really proud of our distribution network in Wisconsin. We are currently sold in over 700 locations in the state of Wisconsin. A lot of off-prem, a lot of on-prem locations. But that's something that we've worked really hard at for the past 5 years, and I think we're doing really well there, and we're starting to expand into other parts of the country now.
What's on your agenda or target list in terms of states that are next?
Sure. Next, I'd really like to see us get into Illinois and Minnesota. They're our neighbors. They're areas that I think our products would do really well in. We are distributed right now in Connecticut and California as well, and we're going to be launching in Florida next month. So
that's amazing. If you could design a limited edition Doundrin spirit inspired by anything you want, what would that be?
Ooh, see, that's a difficult question because we make some weird stuff here. I'm a big fan of we do some fruit brandies. We do a pumpkin brandy, watermelon brandy, and a strawberry brandy. So I'd have to say that I would love to do a fruit brandy that is very Wisconsin. We took a crack at a cranberry brandy that has done really well for us. But there's so many different things out there, and fruit brandies are one that are just really, really fun and interesting.
That's cool. And that also seems kind of like a timeless thing, that people have been drinking fruit brandies, and I'm glad you're bringing it back.
Yeah, it's been fun. The cool thing about it is take our watermelon brandy, for instance. I always tell people it's like, imagine eating a watermelon but rind first. So you get the rind flavor kind of on the front end, and then as it sits on your palate, you get the kind of red fruit flavor. And when you mix it with something that has a little bit of sugar with it, it really makes that flavor pop. And so it's been super fun to experiment with those types of things.
That's super cool. What are some of the things that are coming up in the next few months? I know you want to go to additional states. What other things do you have coming up that you're excited about?
Yeah, we have a couple products coming out. We just released our new full mature brandy, and then we're going to be releasing another batch of our wheat whiskey. We do 100% wheat whiskey. We do that in small batches. We just had our third annual Bloody Mary Fest, so that is something that we look forward to every year. We had about 350 people in a big tent outside. And we do it as like a competition style. So we had 15 local bars and restaurants, and everybody got to vote on which Bloody Mary that they liked the best. So that's really fun. The thing that I'm really looking forward to, though, and it sounds really weird, but it kind of personifies us. Every year we have some kind of, they're pro wrestlers. and they come out to the cocktail garden. They put a ring up in the cocktail garden, and then they put on a show for everybody. We do that twice a year in the summer, and it's just a blast. The wrestlers really get into it, the crowd gets into it, and it's a lot of fun.
That is just a trip. I've never heard anything like that. That's amazing. You just totally made my day.
It's super, super fun. Everybody asks about it. They're like, really, wrestlers? And we're like, yeah, you got to come. It's a lot of fun.
Do they get oiled up?
Yeah, they go all out with, last year we had two times they came. I think they do 6 matches normally at each of the shows, ranging anywhere from, your regular, kind of wrestling match to last year they did a no disqualification match, and they were going crazy out there.
But I think that says more about your brand than anything else. It's like, it's amazing that you're having fun. You're having fun and you're making people happy. I mean, that's a wonderful extension of your brand. I have to go back to something you said earlier. Is there ever a possibility that there could be a cherry brandy, or is that just too common?
I've talked about doing a cherry brandy in the past. It's something that we haven't done. We do a cherry rum right now. So we do a cherry flavored rum. And that's our #1 selling product. I would love to do a cherry brandy, but it's more about the cost with that, just because the cost of the cherries are so high. We try and keep our products at a reasonable price point that are achievable for normal people. And, with something like that, we just really don't want to get into that like $50-$60 bottle kind of thing. So
there is something about once you go over, I think about $45 on a bottle, that people get alerted. It's like, hey,
yeah,
this is expensive.
We have a couple things like that, but they're normally available very limited in the tasting room. We just kind of do them as one-offs for fun kind of things. So
our team thought it would be interesting to ask you these questions. You're hosting a dinner party with the most interesting mix of guests, and who's on your list, and what's your drink of choice for the evening?
Ooh. I mean, if I had to have some guests, I would really like to. Are these like dead or alive guests, or are we talking
anything you want?
Anything I want. If I could really choose to talk to people, it would be people in our industry or people who have been in our industry in the past. We get together with a group of beverage makers once a month from the Madison area. And honestly, that's some of the most fun I have every month, talking with people that, understand what's going on in the industry. They're doing similar things, it's just it's really fun and interesting to talk to them. So that's the kind of people that I would really like to have at a dinner party. And my drink of choice, we make a coffee liqueur and a maple liqueur, and I tend to sip on those 50-50 on the rocks. So that's my drink of choice.
Man, I love it.
We call it the knick-knack here.
Knick-knack, I like it. And so the second question, because sometimes I'll open up the podcast to our production team and say, hey, you guys contribute 2 questions. And so the second question is, if you could time travel to any decade and experience its drinking scene, where would you go and why?
I would have to say just like Middle Ages Europe, just because it's so weird. And that's kind of how I am. It's an age where I think our modern kind of drinks and drinking habits sort of were taking shape. And to kind of see where that all came from would be super, super interesting to me.
That's really, really interesting. Now, Nick, let me ask you this. I mean, you're a family man. You've got a huge responsibility with this entrepreneurial adventure that you're on. How do you take care of yourself?
Sure. So me and my wife, we try and take a day out of the week that we, have for ourselves. Where we go and do something and try and get out of town, or not out of town, but like go do something that's not here at the distillery. But, with us being a newer business, it does take most of our time and things like that. But doing that with, with her, and then just, spending time with my kids and family. That's really how I decompress.
That's amazing. What are your big dreams for Doundrins?
That's an interesting question. I think that dream has changed over time since we've started the business. Really at this point, what I would like to see us be is something that is available to the greater public, outside of Wisconsin, so that I can share the things that I really like with the rest of, the country, rest of the world. That's really what I would like to see us get to, not from like a volume perspective, but just being available for people to experience.
I mean, I'm a marketeer by training and an entrepreneur by necessity. And of course I do this podcast. What I'm hearing you say is you want to make, and I'm saying this with all due respect, your weird dreams and ideas accessible to people in a time when everything is so damn normalized, and everything is so market research. You're saying, hey, I got an instinct to make, a watermelon brandy, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to definitely put it. When we started the distillery, we purposely did not start with a whiskey, and we did not start with a bourbon. And that really is, there were multiple reasons for that, but I think, one of them was we wanted to do something that was different to kind of make ourselves stand out. And that's really who Abby and I are, is, we're not really conventional people, I'll say. And I think you have to be a little bit to get into this business. But making the kind of the weird stuff, like our watermelon brandy or pumpkin brandy, or, the flavored rums or flavored vodkas that we make. And that's been super, super fun. And it's been a lot of, there's a lot of people out there that aren't your typical, whiskey drinkers, that they want to have something on the, a nice bourbon on the rocks or something like that. There's a lot of people out there that they want a fruity cocktail, or they want something that's different and interesting flavored, because they want to do some experimentation at home. And I think that's awesome. And I just want to encourage that.
What kind of music do you guys play there?
We play all sorts of different kinds of music. We do a lot of live music. And so we do, we'll have country bands play, we'll have rock bands play. We even have there's a jug band that is,
oh man, that sounds
Madison.
Perfect.
And they'll come and play. They'll play the Madison Jug Band will come and play. So we do all sorts of weird stuff here.
I mean, I think that, I'm so glad and thankful that you and your wife and your colleagues are doing what you're doing, because what I'm hearing again is, highest quality craft. You're not skimping on ingredients. It's affordable. It's out of the ordinary, and you're bringing this magic to your community. You're using local products.
Mm-hmm.
You're partnering with other small businesses. I mean, this is the stuff that we love at the Firebelly Social Show, which is people that are on a mission to make the world better. So,
yeah, we really like supporting, the other local businesses around us. Anything that we can buy local, we do. All of our peppers for our pepper vodka come from farms within like an hour from us. Same thing with the cucumbers. Our honey from our honey liqueur comes from an apiary about 30 minutes away. Pumpkins for our pumpkin brandy come from a farm in the town that we're in. And maple syrup comes from a farm about an hour and a half north of us. Same thing with cherries, they come from Door County. Really the only things that aren't local are things that we can't. Unfortunately, there's nobody growing lemons here for our lemon rum. So
how did you decide on Cottage Grove?
We originally were looking at an old building in Stoughton, Wisconsin, which is where my wife and I live. And it didn't really work out with the village there and everything. It's an area that they're trying to revamp. And from there, it was just basically we looked around. We looked in Madison for a while. We looked at doing some contract distilling at a different distillery. And then I happened upon the location that we're in on Craigslist, of all things.
Wow.
Yeah, and it used to be where we have our tasting room and our cocktail garden now. It used to be a repossession company. And so we came and looked at it, and it was full of stuff that they had repossessed, and cars were it was a gravel lot where they had with barbed wire and chain link. And we came and looked at it, and Cottage Grove was just also very welcoming to the idea of having a distillery in their town, which can be a little bit of a legal challenge sometimes in deciding on a location. And those things combined, it just seemed like the perfect fit. And so we have been in Cottage Grove ever since, and I am extremely happy with Cottage Grove. They're a very, very supportive community. There's a sense of ownership in the Cottage Grove community of the businesses here, and people take a personal responsibility to make sure that the businesses in Cottage Grove succeed, and it's just been wonderful to see.
I mean, you repossessed the repossession building.
Yes.
You set it free, man. You set it free. You know that if that building could talk, it would tell you how much happier it is.
Oh yes.
I
wish the one thing I wish we would have done starting the business is like stick a camera up that was just taking a picture like once a day forever. And because the amount of change that has happened in the building, around the building since we've started is just crazy.
Well, what I wanted to say to you earlier was thank you, to you and your wife for getting on this journey. I know entrepreneur firsthand. I've talked to so many founders over these last 3 years, and entrepreneurship, starting a food and beverage business, starting a distillery is not easy. It's a very difficult journey. And thank you for doing it and making your world and our world better. That's our official thank you for today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's something that yes, it has been a challenge, but it's been very rewarding. What I always tell people is before this, I worked at a carpet underlayment factory. We made the padding that goes underneath of your carpet in your house, and this is a heck of a lot more fun than that.
I mean, and you've done some things that a lot of people would be very proud to have done, and you just wanted more. You wanted to make the world a better place. And, well, now let me ask you this. What would you say to, 25-year-old, Jonas, who wants to start a distillery?
I would say go for it, but make sure that you have enough funds to get going properly. I would say that, even us looking back at it, I wish we had, in order to get it going properly, we should have had double what we thought we should have had. And so that would be my advice to somebody is look at what you think you need and then double it. And then look at the amount of time you think it's going to take and double that too.
Yeah, it is amazing. It is amazing how much it takes. And, you guys, we wish you the best on your expansion journey and bringing weird coolness and accessibility to it everywhere that you want to be.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode, everybody. A huge thank you to Nick and his family for supporting him, with sharing his passion and insights from the world of Doundrins Distilling. We've had quite a journey today through the art of crafting exceptional spirits, the magic of community events, and the importance of social media in today's world of distilling. I know that social is important to you, Nick. Remember, you can find more about Doundrins Distilling and the delicious creations by visiting their website. What is the website?
It's just doundrins.com.
Doundrins.com, DOUNDRINS. Follow them on social media. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. Your support means the world to us. Stay tuned for more fascinating conversations, although I think this might be one of the most interesting ones we've had with Nick. So thank you, Nick, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you.
for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.